Okay, so today we are going to be installing this into my Yamaha EX 2021. Never done this before, but I think my skill level I should be able to do it no problem. So I'm going to be working back here. The jet pump, the reverse impeller, and the reverse linkage. First thing we're going to do is I am going to get my tools ready. It's a 10mm nut. And then we'll come right back and we'll get started and see what the wrench on this side here to hold it from spinning. Let's give this a whirl so let's get it off here. Very tight space. Very tight. Let's get in here. Very tight. There goes my light. And there goes my wrench. So I'm gonna need two hands. Okay. So I got this off. I also removed the spring that was attached right here, the spring. Next thing we're going to do is we're going to remove this one. This is my steering linkage, which should remove it from the nozzle. But, and I believe that's a 10mm as well. So let's spin you over. And, yep, 10mm. Crank it. That one was pretty easy. Right there. Alright. It looks like I am gonna need a screwdriver. So I ended up just taking the whole reverse thing off. I couldn't get to this bolt right here. There's a nut on the bottom side, but also an Allen head on the top where it screws out. So I couldn't get to it, and of course I stripped it out. So I want to get that on here in a second, but by removing that reverse, it gives you so much more access to everything. So I recommend taking it off before you do anything else. Just take the reverse completely off. It's better. Well, I got it off, but I did strip the head, so I had to use these extractor tools. Thankfully I had some here. I recommend probably spraying this down with some bolt loops like TD Blaster or something like that, because salt water is not friendly, and that thing was on there good. So I messed it up a little bit, but that's all right. So that's the only thing I mess up today. I'll be happy. So next thing we're gonna do is these bolts up here. Turn my light a little bit. So this one, this one, this one, this one, and then you have two down below, right there, and then another one here on this other side. Those got to come off, and this hose right here. You take this hose clamp, this one here as well, and then this whole assembly should slide out. With the shaft and the propeller on it. So let me get in there to do that, and I'll come back and show you what it looks like when I'm done. So to make things a little easier for myself, I have decided to take the ride plate down. It's just going to give you so much more access up to get up in there. Again, as I've said multiple times, it's so tight to work up in there. So I think just taking that plate off is going to make it easier to access everything I need to access. So off it comes. It's just 4 bolts. 1, 2, and then 3, 4. We'll take those off and it'll drop right down. And get back to it. Okay, so here we are, disassembled. There's the cone. So you can see the silicone here. We'll clean that all up before we put it back together. Need to put a little more on there. It's helps seal the two pieces. So now, ooh, I don't know. Looks like I have to take these out as well. Let's see them, and then it will come out. So that's okay. Let me get that out, and then we'll pull the whole thing out and get to the impeller. I think before I take all these bolts out, I am going to number them just to their corresponding holes. Just not sure that I have to, but I just want to make sure everything goes back to the way it came out. So I will number them. You can choose. Okay, so here we are, all torn apart. Make sure you pull this straight out. You don't want to do anything to fuck that shaft up. Pull it straight out. You can see this silicone, so you're gonna. I didn't buy any, so guess what? We're gonna have to stop, and I am gonna have to run to the store and find a marine grade silicone. Back on this side and this side. So when we put it back together, there's the impeller, and we're gonna swap that out. That's nice Solas. Nice Solas stainless steel impeller. Should help with my out of the hole. So there's part number. We'll see. So I'm gonna run to the store, and we'll log back in here when we get ready to change the impeller and put the next thing we're gonna do. We're gonna remove these 3 Allen heads and take this cone out. And then when I bought my impeller, I also bought this impeller removal tool. And that's gonna go in here in the other end, enable us to take the propeller out. Let's get to that. Okay. So to get this out, I didn't have the tools here at home, so I had to bring it to work. Put it in a bench vise, and then we put an impact wrench on it to get it off. It was on there quite tight. To get it off, you'll need the tool that provided by Solas. Not provided, I had to buy it as well. But it fits right in the hole here. It's spline, and it has the nut end on it. So we put the impact wrench on that. It comes off counterclockwise. So what I'm going to do now, I'm just going to clean all this excess gasket silicone off here, so that I can put it back together. Both sides need to be cleaned. So we'll go ahead and do that. And, got my Dremel tool, a little wire brush on it. So we'll zip this off here. So I am back, taking a day off because Amazon didn't show up with my RTV yesterday, so couldn't do anything. But we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put this back into there. So one thing I did see that Solas sends this seal here. It's got a ring on it, and there's little Allen wrenches. I don't know if you can see them. There's a little Allen wrench. There's 3 of them. It's not going to be fun to tighten them. I'm probably gonna have to stick my hand up through this grate down in there. You can see the intake grate. Have to stick your hand up through there up into the shaft and probably tighten them from there. I'm gonna find out once I get it together. So I'm gonna go ahead and slide this. Let's see. I'm wearing a camera on my head, so I just gotta get this adjusted right. So I'm gonna have to slide this jet pump back into its place. So, and I numbered the holes so I know. Okay, so I got it in there. It was the middle of this mind. This one here has an alignment pin on this side, and I wasn't quite getting it on there, so she's on there good now. So now we're just gonna go ahead and put the 5 bolts back in there and torque them down. We'll get that piece back on. Should be good to go. Let me get them torqued in, and I will be back. Okay. So one thing I want to mention before I get putting this thing back together. I put Loctite back on every single bolt I take out of here. I don't want it coming apart, so let's put a little Loctite on these suckers and make sure it stays together. So I recommend it. Also, to the light Loctite, I recommend that you hand thread each one first. Make sure it lines up, because you do not want any stripped cross-threaded threads. That would be a nightmare. So hand tighten first, and then go back and torque them down. So we're all bolted up. Also, you should, like when you tighten them down, like you would a rim on a tire. You know, this side, this side, this side, this side. So just it'll keep you from cracking any of this aluminum. Torquing it just right. So now I'm gonna go ahead. I'm gonna put the cone back on. Just slips back on here. Okay, so now the nozzle. Got my silicone bead around it, so I'm gonna go ahead and put it back on the jet. It also has some alignment pins. Make sure it's lined up correctly. Let's see what we can do here. You'll feel its seat. The trailer's moving. You'll feel the seat in there. And like with the other ones, I've got all my bolts. So we will put Loctite on these as well and get them put back on. Alright, so after the cone is on, you can see I've got the cone on. Not very good lighting in here. Gotta hook these 2 hoses back up. This one right here. That one just has a wire tie. And then this one back here, it has your clamp, your hose clamp, and just tighten them down. And move on. Alright, next step is fairly simple. Just gonna go ahead and put the reverse cone back on. Pretty easy. 2 bolts. And then we'll hook the steering linkage back up. So when I was taking it apart, this here is the bolt that I stripped the Allen head out of. I recommend putting some PB Blaster or something on this. Let it work for a little while. Salt water, you know how salt water is terrible on this stuff. So this thing was locking here pretty good. And I stripped out that. Thankfully I had the tools to get it out. I went back in, I could get a wrench on this and get it back in. So I just recommend putting speed relaxer on it. Okay, so a couple days have passed. I am back at this. As I mentioned, I had stripped this Allen head out. Thankfully, I had a set of these extraction tools to get strip bolts out. But I did purchase another. Just got it off eBay. $70 for that thing. So be careful, don't strip. Cost you $70 and 2 days worth of your time. So I'm gonna get this in here. Not that one, I got a bigger one. I'm gonna get it in there and I'm gonna take that bolt out and I'm gonna replace it with a new one. I will be back. This is how it works. It screws itself down into where the Allen head was. And that it just enables you to turn it out. It's a slow process, but it'll work. Again, I would recommend before you start messing with this, use some PB Blaster to get it loosened up. Save you this headache that I've had to go through. So that's all I'm going to do. Take it out and we're going to replace it. Okay, so everything's back together. Goes this way. You know how that works. The back end works. So the only thing I need to do before I'm going to fire it up just for a hot second. But before I do that, I need to climb under here and tighten those 3 Allen screws that were on that seal on the impeller. Don't forget to do that. Okay, so it's all back together. This is Friday afternoon, so I probably won't get out on the water until Sunday. With a bonus, I started taking up fishing. So instead of having to throw this anchor every single time, I mounted this yak pole to the side of the jet ski, and it will be tied off with this bungee dock cord. And I also made this fishing cooler. Put a fishing rod holder on each side. Use the stainless turnbuckles that I attach the U-nuts, U-bolts to. The bungee cord just helps keep the top down. I mean, it locks, but it's just extra safety. Keep all my tackle in here. Not much. I'm just a beginning fisherman. And then to secure it in the back, also mounted these 2 U's. And it's just attached with a strap underneath. Pretty handy. Food, drinks, fish inside there. It's a lot cheaper than buying one. I made this for $200 probably total for everything. So